Hello and welcome. Welcome to the live stream of, well, it's stuck under here. There's a cat on it right now. We are going to do April showers watercolor tutorial together live. I'll move the cat in just a sec. I think he's enjoying all the bright lights. Maybe it's like warm or something. This is Max. Come here. Show your little face. And we'll see if we can't get a few more people tuned in for this live stream. Let me know in the chat, maybe where you're from. Have you ever done a tutorial with me, Chris, before? Let me know which one. Hello to Melinda. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to have lots of fun with this one. Very, I would say energetic. We can splash some paint around. We can paint outside the lines. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It's a style that I like to do often. All right, we've got a few people tuned in. Max, sir, you're going to have to move your big butt. I'm sorry. I know it's warm. Okay. Oh, you're heavy. Say goodbye. Goodbye. There we go. All right, so now we can actually see the painting that we're going to do today. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, splashing in puddles. I'm in London, Ontario. It is not currently raining. It was raining, kind of like a sleety snow and rain mix earlier today. Definitely umbrella weather here in southwestern Ontario. Let me know where you're from. Are you having rain this week? Maybe still snow, maybe sunny days for you guys, but this is a cute image to do no matter the weather. All right, welcome to MSS Rolly. Hi, Sylvie. Yeah, totally. You can follow along, watch tonight, and paint it whenever you're ready. My cat's name was Max. Was the cat. All right. I'm going to get started. I'll show you the supplies that I have. They're all on the screen here, and then we'll get started. So when you signed up for the free ticket online, you would have gotten a printable, traceable outline. Here's my original one here. Trace that onto your watercolor paper. I'll show you the brand that I use. Canson XL watercolor paper, available in so many places like Walmart, Michaels has it, Amazon has it, pretty common, and you could do any size, really. Any size would be fine. I'm doing quite a big one today, 11 by 15, but you could do like maybe a cute 9 by 12 would be sweet. For that, I'm going to put, let's put this over here. Let's prop this one up a little bit. So print that out. If you haven't already traced this to your paper, that's okay. What you do, print it out. I usually tape it to the back of my paper, and then I hold it up against a window, or if you have a light table or a tracing pad, trace that with a pencil. And I do it a little bit lighter, not too dark. You can also just look at the picture and freehand sketch it as best you can. Maybe tonight you're just watching and you'll do this later. If you want to do this right now and you haven't traced it yet, just hit pause on this live feed. You are able to pause it and rewind it. So you could hit pause, trace this out, and then when you're ready, you can press play again and follow along with me once you're at this stage. So here it is on my paper. There's Pooh and Piglet. So with my pencil and my eraser, I just extended the top of the umbrella. So see how the umbrella on the tracing is kind of like cut off? extend it with your pencil and make it look like a full umbrella. And it's okay if it's not perfectly symmetrical on both sides. That's okay. So this is, I did it pretty light. Here is the extended umbrella. And I added a little nubbin on the top. I tried to make the nubbin line up with the handle of the umbrella, that pole up the middle. It should sort of line up. Erase, adjust as needed. Nothing fancy there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our pen work first. So let me show you the different pens I have available. You might have one or several available to you. The pen that you choose today has to be waterproof because we're doing the pen first. And once we add the watercolor, if it's not waterproof, it's just going to bleed and not look good. So here's some different waterproof pens that I've used throughout the years. These ones are sort of newer to me, by Faber-Castell. These are waterproof. There's different sizes, different thicknesses available. These are waterproof like those. These are super popular. Lots of people use these, by Sakura Pigma Micron pens. When people say, oh, I'm going to use a micron pen, this is the pen they are referencing. And they are different sizes for those. You can buy them in a 3-pack, 5-pack. Those are great. Those are waterproof. I use these sometimes. Le Pen. Again, a lot of sizes available. These are waterproof. Good little set there. What if you don't have like a thin black pen? You could use like a regular Sharpie. That would be okay. Your lines will end up being a little thicker, but I think that'll give it a fun, maybe like a pop art kind of look, or maybe even look like a coloring page with a bit of a thicker line. Sharpie also does make thin pens, and these are waterproof as an option. Maybe you have one around. Raid your husband's toolbox. This brand of tools makes some smudge-proof, waterproof, ultrafine pens. Milwaukee. I just grabbed that at the hardware store just to try it out. It does work as an art pen. Waterproof. So those are just some of the ones I have hanging around. I'll use one of those. What else do I have in view? I've got my watercolors. So I've got this set. I use it a lot, from Amazon. Mei Liang. Cute little travel tin. You just need some basic colors. You could have like a 10-pack of Crayola watercolors. That would be okay. Any brand, any amount of colors. I've even got some metallics here. Those are fun. Adds a bit of sparkle. And I do some mixing in the lid. What a great place to do extra mixing of, 2 colors together. You don't need professional grade watercolor paints to achieve great results and have some fun. I've got my water for my watercolors. I've got a bit of a paper towel that I've used again and again. I just grabbed a couple brushes. Really, you could do this whole thing with just like one paintbrush. That would be perfectly fine. One is enough. Something maybe with a pointy tip. A pointy tip will help you get into smaller, harder to reach little areas, such as that umbrella pole or that umbrella handle. Smaller areas like the little tongue. Even if you just have like this one, sort of like I would say that's sort of a medium brush. Any brand. I mean, this is a size 8 on this particular brand, but every brand has like their own numbering system. I mean, this one doesn't even have a number because it wore off with my hand sweat. I'm not even going to tell you what size to use, just something that can get into the areas that we're about to draw. Let's put those here. Have you finished the rest of your umbrella? Pencil that in if you haven't. Again, we're going to do the pen work first. And if you look at my finished artwork here, if you look real close, Super close. Look at the lines. They are not crisp. They're not perfect. There is some wiggly stuff happening. Like, what is going on along here? What's going on here? And this is sort of a fun style that I like to do because it doesn't matter if you go outside the line. You don't have to stress about making it perfect. Just a fun, loose, scribbly style that I like to do. So as you are starting to outline things, don't even worry. Sometimes I even like to use my opposite hand just to on purposely make my lines extra wiggly. If your hand has a bit of a tremor, perfect. You're going to get that effect without even trying. I'm going to use one of these Faber-Castell ones. I'm going to go with, there's different sizes. Let's try 0.7. 0.7, so pretty fine. If you maybe have brand new pens and you don't know what they look like on paper when you draw with them, here's just something I sometimes do with the pens. So here's an example of the micron pens, the 01, 02, 03, 05, 08, the different, size of the tip. You can see how thick the 08 is. Some other ones, just doodle on a scrap just to see what you like. All right. Where will I start? I'm going to start on the umbrella. Why not? So loosely outlining what we have in pencil with our pen. If you go outside the line, that's fine. If you are inside of the line, that's fine too. If you end up making something bigger than the pencil or smaller, that's fine. If something's a little bit wiggly. And this might be a challenge to some people because you might be, very detail oriented. You want perfect, pristine, precise lines. And this might be difficult to sort of let go, let loose. I recommend holding your pen further from the tip. Loosen the wrist. If you want control, hold it close to that tip, that nib. If you want less control, loose. These little nub things. Yeah, so that's sort of like the whole umbrella once. But I'm going to do all of the lines 2 or 3 or more times. So go over the same sort of pencil marks, but with just more lines. So in the end, each line will have like 2 or 3 goes. Okay, so I went twice around everything. Loose, free, up close, it looks a little messy, but people rarely look at your art from 6 inches away. No one is coming into a room and putting their face right up against your art. They're seeing your art on the wall, in a frame, on the fridge. So hold your painting, your picture, at arm's length. Hold it far away from you and think, that looks pretty good. It's identifiable as an umbrella. I'm going to do a couple more lines just to really sort of scribblify some of these bits. Maybe these little nubs again. Beautiful. We're going to do everything just like that. So do you want to work on your poo? Do you want to work on your piglet? You do you. Everyone can sort of work at their own pace. And if you're falling behind a little bit, if you want a little more time to work on any of these steps, just hit pause. You can pause this live feed and also rewind if you want to see something again. If you are watching this in the future, you're not watching it live, you can also fast forward me droning on and on, which you can't do right now during the live. You must sit and listen to everything I say. When I'm doing sort of the faces, this poo face, this piglet face, I do it a tiny bit neater, like a little bit neater than say the rest of it. If you look closer, I did sort of restrain myself from going too wild with the faces, because I think the faces are sort of what makes this piece look really good, in that they're a recognizable character. So I just take a little bit more care outlining those features. But if you go a little off the pencil line, don't stress about it at all. I might as well, I am going to fill in, say, the eye. The eye is going to be black anyway, 2 eyes here. His little eyebrows, they're also black. Might as well fill them in. You could fill them in with paint, but we got the pen. We're here right now. And the nose of Pooh, it is a black nose. Might as well. And inside his mouth, that's nice and dark and black. But again, if you feel like you want to do paint in these black areas, you absolutely can. I just think it's easy just to fill it in, crank it out. Okay, I'll keep going on my Pooh here. Again, if you feel you need to loosen up more, hold the pen further back here. Went a little off screen there. Well, I'm just outlining everything that's in pencil with pen. So I've gone, sort of around everything twice. Everything sort of double lines, a little bit of triple lines. You could literally even, like, if you're drawing along and then you accidentally drop your pen. Oh no, what happened? Oh, it's fine. Look, I just accidentally on purpose made this big line through him. That's fine. If you, smudge this, it's going to be fine. Look at that. It's all part of it. Beautiful. I'm going to do my piglet. Just doing their faces a little bit tidier, a little more restrained. Cute. And I just love making a drawing first, doing the pen work first, and then adding the paint afterwards, it makes it feel like you've made your own coloring page. And now you're just coloring it in. Boots. Here's my piglet, sort of doubly or triply outlined. Good. I'll do sort of the splashes on the ground and some drips and things. And it does go by pretty fast when you're not really caring if you're following the line or not. And you can add some more drops and splashes if you want anywhere. Big ones, small ones. There, I added a few extra bonus splashes. Let's do Pooh's splash. If you don't like the shape of the splash in any way, just make a new shape. Couple bonus splashes. Where else? Even splashes that go like, onto him. What if there's a splash that goes like this? Even on Piglet, what if there's a splash on his boot or on his leg? Sure. There's some splashes. There's also some raindrops dripping. Here's one here off the umbrella. There's some drops sort of hitting them and kind of going in all directions. Pretty simple. A line and then some drips. Another one on Pooh. Anywhere else you want to add something? Do you want to have some drips hitting the umbrella, right? What if there's a drip coming down like that? What if there's a drip coming down and hitting Pooh's arm? Could be. Anywhere else? The other ear, his shoulder. I'm going to go shoulder. What if there's a drip coming down right in front of his face? There we go, hitting him right in the shoulder. Knee. Ooh, maybe one on his little tush here. On Piglet's tush could be a drop, dripping, splashing. You can even just throw in some like random lines with a drip. Ooh, a drip coming off the, I've got two drips coming off of this umbrella. Where else? Just in the sky you could have anything, anywhere. It's already looking even more rainy than this one. Look at that. Cute. I will add a few more lines just to add some more flavor. I'm thinking about just squiggles somewhere. What if I want like a squiggle? Look at like literal. Oh, there's a squiggle there. Oh, right here, maybe here. I think it just adds something, just something different. You could also make things a little bit darker where maybe there'd be some shadow. So maybe like in this sort of corner of where his arm attaches to his body, it might be darker in there. We might need some extra darker scribbles, some extra darker scribbles by his butt. Maybe there's a shadow there. Maybe some extra scribbles, bottom of the feet, a bit of a shadow. You can be as wild as you like, or do it quite tame. Doesn't really have to make sense. Even sometimes I just close my eyes, literally close your eyes and just, oh, there's a scribble there. Oh, right there. How about one right here? That's fine. That's art. Do what you want to do. It's your world. I'm happy with that. As I do 5 more. Well, maybe a little darker in there. Yeah. Right over here. Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Cute. All right, enough with the pen. If you're still working on the pen work, just hit pause and then catch up with us when you're ready. Beautiful. So I've got my watercolors here. Like a medium-ish brush, nothing too big. And I always start with lighter colors first. I'm gonna go with yellow. Yellow's nice and light to start with. Get your brush wet. I've got, a couple yellows here, like a cad yellow, a bit warmer. This is like a lemon yellow. I think I'll just get both of them going. So put some water with both my yellows here. Just kind of rub it, reactivate it from its dry state. Okay, I'm going to do a yellow umbrella, but if you want to do, a green umbrella, blue, pink, literally anything you want. It could have a pattern. It could be like green, pink, blue, green, pink, blue, whatever you want. I'm going to do a nice bright yellow. And what's great about watercolors is you can go over your lines because watercolor is transparent. It's see-through. So you can just go right over your lines and not have to worry about the lines disappearing. You also don't have to worry about it staying inside the line. So as I'm doing this yellow, some of it might go outside the line. That's okay. Look at that. I went outside the line here, 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 there. Doesn't matter. It adds to the effect. And I'm going to do a little bit of a cad yellow. So it's a little bit, I would say, orangier yellow. If you don't have a different yellow, get a little orange with your yellow, mix it in the lid or maybe like a palette or a plate, something a little darker than what you just used. And I'm going to put some of that down in here. So like the underneath side of the umbrella. Some of this and this will touch. The two wet colors might touch and bleed into each other. Perfectly fine. Again, I went outside the line accidentally on purpose. There could also be white patches that don't get filled in. So in this upper part, I missed a spot there, I missed a spot there, and there. I think it adds maybe a sparkle to it. So there's a little of that. I can even take some of that orangier yellow and dab some. You can dab it sort of along those seams. I guess you could call it a seam. Dab some of that wet in wet. It'll flow and blur and go wherever it wants to go. There we go. There's an umbrella. Look how much I've gone outside the line here. I'm not going to worry about it. I am going to let this yellow dry before I add, say, the gray details of those little nubs, that little nub there or the handle. I don't want yellow and gray to mix. But yellow and yellow is fine. I'm going to do, I guess I'll do the handle because that's also yellow. Which yellow? Or it could be a different color handle if you want a black handle. Here's some yellow. If you want your handle to look like it's a little bit shiny, I just left a little skinny bit of white down the middle. So really I'm just sort of outlining the handle, leaving a little bit of white. Well, it's hard to see. There's a little sliver of white where I didn't put paint. I think it adds And it doesn't have to be solid. I could even like have it in like little chunks. Break it up into 3 little white patches. Yellow handle. I also did Pooh's boots yellow. I just think yellow boots in a puddle is super cute. Or pink, green, blue, anything. Yellow. I guess I could also leave a little white patch on the boot to make the boot look shiny. Yeah, I left like a little teeny itty bitty white patch. Makes it look glossy, I think. So yellow on the boots. For added shading, we could even grab a tiny bit of orange if you have a sort of light or medium orange. I didn't do it, well, did I do a tiny bit? Maybe the tiniest bit. Tiny bit of lighter medium orange sort of at the back of the boot and the bottom of the boot. Sort of gives it like a shadow. Very subtly shaded with a little bit of lighter medium orange. And that's, again, it's going to bleed, blend, go wherever it wants to go because you cannot control watercolors. I'll put even a little orange on the handle just for funsies. Maybe I'll put a little bit of orange. Put a little orange in this yellow. Added shading in there. Just a smidge. That's pretty good. And I think that's sort of it for yellow in mine. You could do matching boots if you want them to have matching boots. But I think that's good for yellow. We do want to do light colors. So let's go with Piglet, sort of a light, dusty pink color. If you just have like one pink available, really water it down. I've got, these are actually kind of a metallic pink. I might use one of those and make them a little bit glossy. It's hard to see. When the light catches it just right, I did use sort of a metallic-y pink. It's a little shiny there. Also, I have this bright sort of magenta pink. Use that, just really water it down. Oh my gosh, this one or maybe this one. Get some water on those to activate them. And I'll see what one I like. That's pretty good. Sort of a really watery. It's quite a light pink. Yeah, or if you use something like this, get it in the lid, add a bunch of water. Really lighten that pink. Let's see. Yeah, that's cute too. So there's like 2 different pink options for me. Yeah, they're both cute. But if you make a mistake or change your mind, I just get a tissue and dab, 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 and it's gone. Okay, I'll do this sort of a dusty light pink. Again, if you go outside the lines, perfect. I love that. His whole face. Do his whole face, including his nose, his tongue, because we can darken those later. There's his face and ears. Get a little on the arms. Light pink. Arms. His shins. I guess those would be his shins. His knees, maybe. That bit of his leg just peeking out there. Super light. And, sometimes the paint will puddle in areas and it'll appear darker than other areas. That's okay too. Light pink. There he is. Sometimes even you could like tilt your page and you can see the pigment sort of moving side to side. Go. Pink. I'm going to put a teeny tiny bit of, like a little bit darker pink, maybe next to his, like the, what am I saying? Right side of his face. As if, you know, it's a little bit shaded on the right side of his face. Right arm, maybe a little bit there too. Right of the ear. Just super subtle, super duper light, watery. So watery. Maybe a little bit on, maybe under here. Maybe that would be darker, where the ear kind of folds. There we go. And I've gone outside the lines again many, many times. Okay. Yeah, let's let that dry before we add, say, the, is it an outfit? Is it just his body that's that stripy thing he's wearing? It could be his body. Do I have pink anywhere else? No. Nope, no more pink. I will do, let's do, I think Pooh's body is sort of the next sort of light color I want to do. I would say Winnie the Pooh is like a tan or yellow ochre, like a yellowy browny color. So if you don't have, so this, where is it here? This is a yellow ochre, so it's like a yellowy brown. If you don't have that, maybe you have a brown. I've got several browns here, plus yellow. Mix something in your lid or a palette or a plate. Yellowy browny tan. Start with yellow, add a little brown. See what that looks like. You could make a purple Winnie the Pooh if you really felt like it. Anything you want to do. A tie-dye rainbow Winnie the Pooh would be nice too. Winnie the Pooh is quite a big area. I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush, but if you only have the one brush, use that one. Like a 10. Got this yellow ochre. Activate that, get lots of water in there. Test it out. Put it on there. If you don't like the color, you know, dab it. Comes right off. But I think that's the same color I originally used. Let's blob that on. Lots of water. Again, it's okay if some areas end up looking darker or lighter than others. If your boots, your rain boots are still a little wet, just don't let the two wet colors touch. You can have a little white gap between the two colors so they don't bleed. But if a little yellow bleeds into the yellow ochre, not the end of the world. And I've even painted over some of the splashes. Like I drew some splashes here on this piglet leg. I've just painted right over them. I don't care. I'll paint it blue later. There's sort of his bottom half. And some arms. Why does Winnie the Pooh only have a shirt on? It's like Daffy Duck. He's only got a, Daffy, no, Donald. Donald Duck only has a shirt on. But when he comes out of the bath, he puts a towel around his waist. I don't get it. I do not get it. I'm not gonna think about it too much. All right, we've got an arm, two arms, to his head. again, I've gone outside of the lines a million times already. If some of this color, you know, gets on the shirt accidentally on purpose, it's fine. We can paint over that. There we go. I've got a little bit going on to my boot, so I'll just dab it, lighten it. Perfect. Got all shiny. Now he's still very wet. I'm going to add like a tiny bit of like a darker brown. So I've got all these different browns here. Let's go with maybe this sort of a chocolatey brown. Just something a little smidge darker. It could be along his rear, along sort of his shin, maybe along the underside of his shirt. Could be a little darker. Where else could be a little darker? Maybe right in this kind of leg, crotch area. Along the right side of this little hand. Could be a little darker, or under his bulging bicep. Could be a little darker. Right in here where the arm is going into the sleeve. Could be darker. Or along the bottom of the arm. Where else would be a little darker? Maybe the right side of his head here. Maybe down by the shirt. Right side of the ear. Both ears a little bit. And it's spreading. It's gonna go where it wants. It's gonna make weird shapes as it dries. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. See how that goes. Good. We are just whipping through this. And once you learn, you know, this sort of scribble style, messy painting style, you could do like anything. Print off anything on the internet, trace it, scribble pen, blobby paint, anything. Birthday cards, as a gift for someone, a pet. It's just a fun, casual style. All right, things are wet sort of all over. I want to take a moment to let this dry. While I have your attention, if you're still finishing some of these areas, I want to show you some upcoming events with me, Chris, both free and paid events. So we have a wonderful website, artistpalettereham.com, where we list all of our free events and our paid events. We do love doing these free events on YouTube for you, of course, but you know, the bread and butter is paid tutorials. If you enjoy a particular host, particular teaching style or art style, check out our paid tutorials on our website. I'm going to show you what I have coming up. I do like watercolors. That's sort of my, what's the word? My favorite. That's a better word for that. I can't think of it. So coming up with me, now this is a paid event, April 24th. So in 2 weeks' time, you purchase a ticket for the event, and then on the day, the video is released, and you watch it anytime you want. You don't have to watch it right then and there. So here is one of my paid tutorials, and I called this one Spring Gnome Home. So on our website, if you look up search words, Gnome Home is going to get you several hits. You're going to get Spring Gnome Home. So this is in 2 weeks. I've already released Autumn, Holiday, and Summer Gnome Home. So really, this is the 4th in the series, Spring Gnome Home. We will draw this from scratch together. And everyone's turns out different and unique and beautiful because you can add, you know, whatever features you want on your gnome home. It could have square windows or flower-shaped windows. You could have, you know, blue flowers, green flowers. You could have a red roof. You could have 2 gnomes instead of 1. You create your own world with me. And even the one that I teach, like when I do this tutorial, is going to end up completely different than the one you see here. This is just the example. So check out our website, artistpalettejournal.com, for our paid events. The next free event, so this one is free. It's called April Showers. What's the rest of that phrase? April showers bring May flowers, right? So we're doing this one in April. In May, you know, Pooh, Piglet, they have some flowers. So this one's going to be free right here on YouTube Live. So you could call this a two-parter. So this part one, April showers, bring May flowers. So here is Pooh and Piglet back from the meadow, I guess. This one will also have a printable, traceable outline that you get when you sign up on our website for your free tickets. So then you'll get that outline. You know what? You could even get this outline like today with your free ticket and then just do all the same steps that we did today. Do it a month early. We're going to do this one May 8th. May 8th right here on YouTube Live. And it's nice to do it together. You could do it on your own, but I think it's nice to sit down together, unwind after a long day together, just paint. So check out that one. Get your free ticket on our website, May 8th. And then I want to show you one more thing. This is brand new. Like I literally finished it today. It's not on the website yet. I haven't even shown this to the other hosts. Brand new, exclusive, first look, you guys. It's gorgeous. So I've done a number of mixed media works that I sort of make it look like stained glass, but it's not really stained glass. We've done like sort of like a Halloween dog. We've done a cat with balls of yarn. We've done seahorse with sort of an under the water scene looking like stained glass, but it's not stained glass. It's a painting. So this is coming up. We're going to go May 22nd. It's not on the website yet. It will be. This is a paid tutorial. Here it is. And we are going to draw this together from scratch. And I'm going to call it, I think I'm going to call it Showy Tulips. So we will do this together. It is on a canvas, as you can see, but you could do this on paper. And I've used fabric paint for all the line work. If you don't have fabric paint, you could do any of these pens. A Sharpie would work for doing the line work. But isn't that just like if spring could just be summed up in one painting? If you only do one spring painting this season, make it this one. This is going to be so cute to do, so fun. Everyone's is going to turn out differently. You could do your favorite varieties of tulips, different borders. It's going to be so much fun. All of the student work of these mixed media sort of faux stained glass have all turned out really good. I expect this one to be the same. Super cute. Exclusive first look right here, right now. No one else has seen that except my family. All right, this has had a few minutes to dry. It doesn't have to be 100% dry. That's fine. Okay, I want to work on, so I'm going to go back to this umbrella and I'm going to do the gray of the handle, the little nubs, these little nubs. I did sort of like a light gray. What if you want to do a purple, blue, green, like literally anything? Gonna get sort of something with a pointy tip because it's quite narrow. Now, your set doesn't have gray specifically. You have black, and you water down the black. So I'm going to grab some black, put it right here. Sure. Just need a bit. And if you want this pole to look shiny, like it's metal, leave little white gaps. So don't paint the whole thing in. Do some little stripies, leave white gaps. Well, it's hard to see with all this lighting. I've left a few thin little white lines. Same with up here, just like leave like one little or two little bits of white. And then we'll put a little bit of gray on each of these little nubs. Or any color. That's it. Nice, good. My piglet is, more dry, so we could do his body, onesie, darker pink than his body. So I've got this pink here. I could even mix it with some of the other pink I used. Let's see, is that... It has to be significantly darker than his body. It could have like a little twinge of purple in it too. If you wanted to put a little dash of purple in, would be cute. Yeah, I'd call that magenta. Yeah, it's looking more like piglets. Now this one is more reddish pink. This one I think is more purplish pink. Either's good. I'm gonna darken his nose, not too dark, just a little darker, like his tongue, a little darker. That one really gets washed out in the lighting. Yeah, his little nose, his little tongue, tiny bit darker. While I'm at it, I might as well do Winnie the Pooh's tongue. Little pink tongue. Could be red, could be pink. Cute. His body's mostly dry. We could do his classic red shirt. So many reds. Let's go with, try that red. It's like maybe an orangier red if you have a choice of reds. Yeah, that's kind of a nice red shade. Again, you can go outside the lines. You can leave white gaps. It doesn't have to be perfectly filled in. There's lighter parts with more water, darker parts with more pigment. You could even like get water on the brush. There's just water, no paint. Dab around some extra water. Maybe his shoulder might be a little lighter because maybe some light is shining on his shoulder. Maybe I want more water there. Maybe it's sort of lighter by this part of his sleeve. A little extra water there. See what happens when it dries. Yeah, it's looking cute. And they do dry a little lighter. So don't be afraid if you've like gone too dark, it will lighten as it dries a little bit too. Lovely. Okay, I can work on his little boots. I did green boots. What else would be cute? Purple. Maybe not blue, because I feel like blue boots would sort of blend into the blue splash. Orange might be nice. I'm going to do green. I've got several greens. Which green? Maybe this lovely, like a leaf green, kind of a medium green. Maybe I want it a little lighter. I've got this beautiful sort of a yellow green. I'm trying not to let the green touch the pink, sort of his crotch area. Let's not have green and pink mixing. That'll make like a brown, and that's not good in that area. Nice bright green. Lovely. All right, I'm going to do the blue splashy puddles here. I did something fun when I filled these in. Well, I'll just show you. You'll watch. I'm going to move this away a little bit. Bear with me. Put this here. Get some blue. Lovely blue. What's a nice, so many blues here. What is a nice puddle blue? I'm going to put some paint on like half of this. So blob it kind of around like that. Really watery. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to come right in here. I blew on it with my breath. And it makes it really random, right? It's just going to go where it wants to go. I'm going to kind of turn this. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put some blue here. And this might not be for you. You don't have to do that. You could just kind of paint it as we have been. Look at that. It even went like sort of on his leg. That's perfect. And then if you're, you know, lacking in certain areas, just put some paint specifically where you want it. Perfect. Look at that one. Oh my gosh. Look at the movement of that. That looks like he literally just stomped that puddle. The motion. Yeah, love that. I'm going to do that for Piglet too. Put some paint here. Oops, went on the table. That's okay. That happens. Sort of lacking in this area. Oh yeah, big one. Rotate. So much fun. Look at that. That one almost went off the page. And you could just kind of fill in any bits that you need to fill in. I even just grab some water, just plain water, and just kind of dilute. Move it around. Oh yeah, look at that action. I'm going to paint in these other drops here and there. And don't forget all of our vertical dripping drops too. Put a little smooch of blue on those. There's no way you're going to stay inside the lines on these ones. You're going to go outside the lines. Cute. They look so cheerful. Oh, I missed one. Oh, the shoulder, yeah. And also those other ones that I drew on their bodies. I did do a couple extras on their body. Even on this guy. Oh, maybe right here. Cute. And I mean, this could be finished. If you like it as that without the extra splashes, leave it at that. But I love a good splash. That's cute. I might, I'm going to darken his nose a little bit more. Yep. Perfect. It's not too late to add other things. What if you wanted to add a little bird has just perched here or perched here or here? Maybe a butterfly seeking shelter from the rain is on here. What about a frog is sitting right here enjoying the rain or sitting over here? What else could you add? Maybe the words April showers ... And then later on, next month in May, we'll finish that off. Bring May flowers. What else could you add? You could add patterns on the umbrella. Patterns on the boots could be purple polka dot boots. Could be a black and yellow stripy umbrella. Anything at all. What about, what might be funny? Maybe, I said frog already. They like the water. What else likes water? I don't know. I'd love to see what ideas you come up with to add to your piece. All right, I'm going to add splashes. I'll show you, but then I'm going to put it away again. I sort of put the splashes near where they came from. So like the yellow splashes are sort of near the yellow umbrella, just loosely. The red splashes are sort of near the red shirts. Green splashes are sort of near, but really you could just go wild, go anywhere you want. Doesn't matter. Here's some pinks. But, you know, anywhere is fine. So I'm going to put this away so it doesn't get more splashed. Move away your phone. Move away anything you don't want to have paint on it. I'm going to use this brush. It kind of holds more paint. If you have something even bigger, you know, maybe even something like that can hold a lot of watery paint. Let me start with maybe yellow. Let's start with yellow. That's what we started with earlier. Yellow watery paint in my brush. Couple ways to do these splashes. You can tap your brush on your finger and it'll give you sort of very fine little splashes. I mean, yellow's not, what am I doing yellow? You can't see the yellow. It's hard to see. Let's do blue. Blue, you'll see. Blue, you can see the blue. Okay, so I've got blue, watery paint, tap, and you'll get some little kind of cute splashes. Now, some of them are going to land on the table. Some of them will land on your characters. That's okay. We've got some here. We got some right on here. If there's any splashes that happen and you're not a fan of, just dab it away. Boom, gone. It'll lighten it, like it's still very faintly there, but like if you maybe did an accidental big blob right in the middle of his face, just dab at it. Do a few more little blue ones. So that's if you want tiny, tiny little splashes. Look how cute those are. Tiny little baby ones. Tiny ones. If you want bigger, I kind of hurl my brush at the page and then stop short, like I'm flicking a wand or something. So these are going to be bigger, more energetic. Reload. Some in the sky. Some on the umbrella. Okay, so those are a little bigger. Sometimes you'll have like sort of like a row or a line. Again, anything you don't super duper love, just dab it, lighten it. Okay, blue, let's do, I want to go back to the yellow. I do like the yellow. Do some little yellows by the umbrella. Do some bigger. Bigger yellows on the table. There we go. So the yellow gets kind of washed out with the lighting. Get out of here, light. So there they are. Bit of yellow. I'm going to do a bit of red. Yeah, a little red. Pretty much whatever colors we've used. Max, are you being weird over there? Max is like scrunging around in some tissues. It's being a little bit weird. Max, are you going to come say goodbye to everyone? You started the video. Want to end it? There's some red, so I kind of focus the red on his shirts, sort of around this area. Could be a little over here. Red. I'm going to do some, like, you know, that yellow ochre Winnie the Pooh color. Right on his body, right on his forehead, his arms. That's just fun. It's just so fun. It's making it look very whimsical. Pink, gonna have some pink. Yeah, that's a little dark right by his mouth. Ooh, I should do a bit of yellow by his boots. A little bit of boot splash. Good, I think green by these boots. Oops, that one was a little crazy. Think don't want to do like gray splashes for like the handle. I'm just going to skip gray. I will add a tiny little smidge of just slightly darker gray on the right side of my handle. So just like a little bit darker gray or even borderline black. Just to make the handle look a little more shaded, a little darker on the right side. Yeah, and maybe to you that's too much splashes. Maybe I went too far. That's all right. This is mine. This is my world. Look at this one. So they're similar, different. I think I definitely went darker on the pink on this one. This pink is kind of washed out in this light, but I like this pink. Yeah, I did go a little wild with the splashes compared to like the first one. But I love it. I made it. It's mine. I could display it, something I'm proud of doing, and take the things you learned and apply it to something else. Make a greeting card for someone. Maybe birthday, anniversary, something fun. It could be like any image you find online. Do the scribble outline. Do this fun, loose splash of the watercolors. So fun. I'm going to sign it. Now I could sign it in the pen or I could sign it in the watercolor. You always want to sign your work sort of in the medium that you did. So I wouldn't sign say a pencil drawing. I wouldn't sign that with a pen because the work was in pencil. So I'm going to I'll do pen. A pen signature. You could do your whole like autograph. You could do just your initials. I like to sort of tuck my initials into a little corner somewhere and kind of blend it in with it. I've got my little initials right in there. You could put the year, tucked it right in there. There you go. Super. And we killed it. We did like a little over an hour. If you sort of take away the sort of introductions and here's your supplies, about an hour. And someone's going to look at this and think you spent like 5 hours making this. And you'd be like, nah, just like an hour, 45 minutes. It's nothing. Awesome. When it's dry, take some photos. I would love to see photos of your work. I especially love seeing like if a kid and a parent has painted together. I love, them holding it up side by side and seeing generations that have painted together. That's always my favorite. We have 2 Facebook groups. I think I've put the links to those in the description below. If not, I will add that just as soon as I'm done. The Watercolor Lovers Facebook group, a quaint, small watercolor community of all skill levels. We're very welcoming and encouraging to all the skill levels. I'd love to see your work posted in that Watercolor Lovers Facebook group. Also, we have the Artist Palette painting/drawing support group and our free events. So I think I've got the links to both of those down here. If not, I'll add them. Down below in the description as well is a link to my tips. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you enjoy my hosting style, I would just love a sign of your appreciation. A small tip is always, always super appreciated. And I love when people write a little note with it saying, what painting you did and how you enjoyed it. That is just so fun for me to see. If anyone has any questions about this one or, anything I mentioned earlier with the other paintings, with, supplies, any questions at all, type them in the chat now, or email us, message us on Facebook, and we will answer those questions. I welcome any and all questions at this time and later. Maybe not. I can't wait to see your versions of this. And be sure to come back May 8th. So a little under a month away, and we'll do, part 2. Bring May flowers, April showers, bring May flowers. And then you can display them side by side in your house. 2-parter. It's going to be so cute. I don't see any questions. You're very welcome, MSS Rolly. Thank you so much for joining us and, keeping the chat going. All right, I don't see any questions, but feel free to message us, email us anytime. All right, guys, thank you so much once again, especially anyone who maybe already sent me a little tip. I really appreciate those. All right, we will see you in the Facebook groups and next month. All right, take care, guys. Happy painting. Bye now.